Good evening. I'd like to call our Board of Directors meeting for August 11th, 2020. It's 6:30 p.m. Ms. Rankin, roll admission, please.
Role of the board, we are entrusted to care for the current school and stay focused on the vision for the future school. No trust, no unity, no progress. Mission of Clover Garden School will foster community, generate enthusiasm, challenge students academically, and produce successful citizens.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for this evening? Any questions, changes, or concerns? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Mr. Hines? Okay. Ms. Foster, second. All in favor? And Mr. Brooke. For the July minutes, we had 2 meetings in July, July 14th and July 16th. I'd like to vote on once, unless there are concerns with either date or minutes.
There's one correction on the 16th right here under A, first page. This one should say 5-0-1. And the 1 would be where the chair is saying.
Okay.
So that would be accept as correct.
Okay, with the July 16th, accept as corrected. Are the July 14th and July 16th minutes approved? Any review or any other changes? Do I have a motion to approve July 14th and July 16th with the correction?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Huffines, second. Mr. Hackney, all in favor? Ms. Verhaken, is there anyone for public comment this evening?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. No special guests. Ms. Simmons, do you have a report on finances?
No, ma'am, not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to academics, the principal's report, Ms. Moore.
So for our principal's report today, we have a lot of great things happening, especially the school starting. Today was our 11th day of school. Yay, right? So our teachers have been working super hard to pave a new temporary road for our students to make sure that they are getting what they need and to make sure that there's as few bumps in the road as totally possible. And they've been working super hard, answering questions, going above and beyond to make sure that our kids are getting what they need. And I want to give a huge shout out to our tech team, our Canvas committee, the academic committee, our teachers, staff, students, and families all pulling together and making sure that this new virtual venture has been a success. So thank you to everybody. I want to give you an update on stakeholder engagement. So one of our big things with this has been, how are we going to keep our community, our family feel a family feel, right? Because that's what Clover Garden is known for. So I just want to let you know about a couple of things that we're doing. Number one, we're doing a daily announcement video on Facebook, just a quick 2-3 minute video saying, hey, you've got this, you're doing a great job. And then we're also, at the very end of that, we have students who have signed up to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, just like we would do here if we were on campus. So at the end of announcements, we have our daily Pledge of Allegiance. And then also each week, we are continuing with our Amazing Grizzly Hero program we've done for the past 3 years. And each week we have a new character trait for that week. So this week's word has been honest. And so we've been talking about what honest means and what that looks like and why you want to be honest. 2 weeks from now, the word is humor. I'm very excited. Because we need some laughter in our life, right? And then the other thing that we've been doing goes along with our Amazing Grizzly Heroes. Each week, normally in the past, it's just been our in-house people that have nominated Amazing Grizzly Heroes, our teachers. But this year, we're expanding it to all stakeholders to nominate. We're showing those amazing Grizzly Hero character traits, just going above and beyond. In that first week, which was honor, that word was honor, we had 15 students by their family members and by community members, which has been really cool. And we've got kids that are doing so many great things. They're raising gardens and they're sharing their produce with other people, or they're helping their neighbor in their yard, or they're, helping a little brother and sister when mom's cooking dinner, just whatever. Our kids are awesome. I'm excited that we have the opportunity to showcase these kids and all the really cool things that they're doing. This past week was Here with Ears, and we had 2 people that were nominated. And then this week is Honest, so I'm excited to see who all is being nominated for that. And whenever they are nominated, they get a shout out on Facebook. And they also get a piece of snail mail from me. Because I think as a kid, wouldn't that be the coolest thing? To get a piece of mail that's not a bill or anything like that, So that's what's been going on with that. And then our next section is helping other charter leaders. So last Friday, Ms. Braken and I were given the opportunity to participate in a virtual call with other charter school leaders across North Carolina. And in fact, we were surprised to find out that during this call, there was a lady from Oregon and one from Trinidad. So we were able to speak to all kinds of people, 36 participants in that call. And what it was just how we're doing things here at Clever Garden with this new distance learning program, how we've set up, how we've empowered our teachers, how our students are doing, how we're supporting them. And Monday I was on a call with the same gentleman that hosted this event. And he said from Friday to that Monday at 11 o'clock, there had been 328 downloads of that same video that other people have watched. So just that 1 hour event that we participated in has been shared with almost 350 people. So that's pretty awesome. Right here is a picture of all of us on the Zoom call. We had to share that. And then the other thing, teacher working condition survey and new leadership team goals. So last meeting, we went over our teacher working condition survey and we kind of briefed that with y'all. Well, then we took it to our leadership team and they did the same thing, broke it down, talked about it. And then from that, they birthed 3 goals that they want to work on in the next 2 years. So things that they came up with, accountability. They want to work on that based on that survey data. So how do faculty and staff know what all of our students are learning and what they're doing? The second thing that they want to work on is the consistency. So everyone participating and engaged in student achievement and learning, including our community stakeholders, how we keep all that consistent. And then the other part that they want to focus on based on the data is our equity. So how can we educate not only our staff, that's the big thing, right? To make sure that we know what we're talking about, what we're doing, but also our students as well. So then on the next couple pages, I've got some events coming up. This first thing is our Excellence and Award Program. Fingers crossed, it's going to stay on this date, Tuesday, August the 18th from 5:30 to 7:30. This is the we're all been waiting for because Miss Mom, she is our Teacher of the Year. And we are super excited because this is the event where Alamance County, they celebrate all the Teacher of the Year nominations and the finalists, and then they announce the final Teacher of the Year for Alamance County. And so we are going to go, we're going to cheer on Miss Nom, and hopefully it'll be her. That's announced, right? We have our Title I monitoring visit on the 25th of August. Then academic break is coming up August 31st to September 7th. And then we have our All-American Week that is scheduled for September 1st through September 18th. And that is an event that our student council has put on for the past couple of years, and they don't want to let go of it yet. And I'm so excited that they're figuring out a way to make some of that virtual for our kids. The other thing that I want to talk about real quick is our Canvas updates, which is in front of this in your packet. But just a few things, Ms. Randy went through and she listed out the top 5 things that we've learned, and then the top 5 things that we went well. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to read all those to you, but I am going to go to the second page and brag on our teachers for a little bit, because this is the 10th, 11th day of school, right? And from that time, our teachers have been super busy. They've, between all of them, 6,638 assignments have been posted. 1,025 discussion topics have been happening between our teachers and our students. 13,000 files uploaded, and then 614 video recordings. That is videos that our teachers have been producing for our kids in 11 days. That's insane, right? I mean, they have been working their tails off, and it is showing, and learning is happening. And it looks totally different than what it's ever looked before, but you should see our teachers teach. I love walking up and down the hallways when they're here, and just the energy is amazing. The third page right here is just some webinars that our Canvas committee has come up with to continue that Canvas education for our kids, for our teachers. And then they're also thinking about some parent webinars potentially in the future if we can work some of that out. That's it. Any questions about the principal's report?
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving on to old business, the cross-country course. The athletic boosters are awaiting some information from administration. I'm working with them to get that information to them. So once they have that, hopefully by the September or October meeting, we'll be able to put together their project plan and present to us what they have planned and what the possibilities may be. Moving on to governance. Ms. Braken, student handbook, student parent handbook.
So I'm not sure if governance wants to speak to this or not, but this is the last policies and procedures type thing that is always updated annually. And so we put a lot of time and effort into our student and parent handbook. This year, you'll see in your packet, there's a summary of all the changes that were made. Most of them were subtle when it has to do with years and updating it in that fashion. But some other things that we put in this year have to do with policies and procedures that were some of those like unwritten rules, but they weren't actually listed out anywhere. So we did update the student and parent handbook to reflect some of those updates and changes just for the betterment of the school and for operations. So if Ms. Foster feels comfortable, I'm just going to send it to her. We met about this with governance. And again, I'm here to answer any questions if we have any.
We reviewed the handbook, reviewed the changes. I found everything to be very thorough. Things were spelled out clearly, expectations for both parents and students. And I think it would be a great idea for everybody just to take a few minutes just to glance over some of the changes that Ms. Barakin has outlined in the summary. But I would suggest that we go ahead and move to accept this as our student staff handbook or parent handbook for the 2021 school year. So I did not see anything that caused any issues where I was concerned.
Mr. Brooks has his hand raised.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Brake, did you have a chance to look at the discrepancies between page 15 and page 21 concerning tardiness and drivers?
ask him if he'll repeat what the discrepancy was.
Mr. Brooks, will you repeat that again? What the discrepancy?
All right.
was?
On page 15, it's generally talking about tardiness. And it lists the penalties if a student who is a driver attains 6 tardies within a semester. And the list is loss of driving privileges, and then it goes on to losing after school activities and stuff like that. And then because it's on tardies, it also talks about non-driving students. So there's 2 different categories: a driving student and a non-driving student. The punishments are the same for both, except for, of course, the driving student would lose their driving privileges. Then if you go to page 21, 21 is addressing the driving and parking privileges. And on page 21, you'll notice that under drivers, it lists the loss of parking privileges, but it does not, under tardy problems, but it does not list the loss of extracurricular activities. And also on page 21, even though we're talking about student drivers and parking, it also lists non-drivers. So we just need to drop that paragraph out of page 21.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. I'll make those updates. I'm sorry for the repetitiveness. Thank you for catching that.
That's okay. I mean, in one, you're addressing tardiness for the whole school, and the other one, you're just reinforcing it, letting the student drivers know that this is something that you could also lose in case they skipped over the first part. But the consequences should be the same on both pages.
Right. Thank you very much. I will make those consistent. Thank you for that catch.
Okay.
Did you have anything else, Mr. Brooks?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we need additional time, or do we feel we can go ahead with the changes proposed? Accept and approve the parent-student handbook.
I'll make a motion to approve the handbook after the changes are made.
Have a motion from Mr. Brooks. Do I have a second? Ms. Foster seconds. All in favor? So for the committee updates, for finance, we're kind of on a hiatus right now. We are working on scheduling a meeting for late September that I think is going to have to be moved into October due to conflicts, and also the budget's not going to be sent down from Acadia until probably late September or early October. So for the finance committee, we're probably going to move into October before we meet again, which is typical for this time of year.
The academic committee.
I think
think we have a scheduled Zoom meeting on August 27th, and it will be a joint meeting with the teachers on the academic committee as well.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Governance, Mr. Brooks, is there anything additional?
No, there's nothing new other than going through the handbook, checking that. Now we'll just find our next thing to work on.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Brooks. And then for long-range planning, Mr. Huffines.
Sorry. I thought that were a good idea.
All right, so for long range planning committee, we continue to meet monthly on a monthly basis. And so right now, the biggest item that we are working on is our request for qualifications package for architectural and engineering services for our expansion project. So that was released end of July. So I'm hoping to, as a committee, hoping to receive proposals by the end of this month. So that's my update for the long range committee.
Thank you, Mr. Huffines. Next item is the virtual public comment process. Has any questions come up about that? Have you received any emails? Has everyone had a chance to review that process and outline? Mr. Brooks, did you receive that via email? Have a chance to look at that?
I received the email, but I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. Is it something that needs to be voted on?
Yeah, we do need to vote on that. If we need to wait until the September meeting or can you? That would be great. Okay, Mr. Brooks, Mrs. Varigan is going to do a quick summary.
Okay.
Okay, so in your packet, you should also have this copy as well. So what this came to be was while we're working and hosting our board meetings remotely, we want to make sure that all of our parents and stakeholders, anyone that has something that they would like to discuss for public comment, have the opportunity to do so. So right now, our building is open Monday through Friday from 7:30 until 4, but we're not allowing visitors in. But we still do have our sheet up front where they can sign up for public comment if there's concern they would like to address or just feedback in general. So that process hasn't changed. We're not updating that. They can still sign up, if they get screened and they can come in and sign up. But just in some reflection, we wanted to make sure we had another opportunity for those that may not feel comfortable coming on campus to sign up. So now we have the option of a written form through Google. So this is a Google form. This is similar to what some other school systems use as their opportunity for public comment. So if you look on the back, that's just a copy. I kind of printed the form that we created. So it just kind of outlines what public comment is, kind of what the stipulations are, and then it gives them the opportunity to submit their concern for public comment. So the only difference between this policy and what we've already got is just the opportunity for them to be able to submit it in writing, and then we could add it to the agenda during the public comment section. So now families, stakeholders, community members will now have 2 opportunities to sign up for public comment, especially while we're working and meeting virtually. So now they have, yes, you can still sign up in the front, or you can submit this online and it comes straight to us. And then we close it at 6 o'clock, which is what we normally do in our procedure for signing up here on campus. And then we would bring those to the board meeting and read those out 3 minutes. Same rules as normal public comment, but it just gives our stakeholders another opportunity to voice concerns, opinions, feedback. Any questions or comments about the policy? Thank you, Ms.
Ms. Barakin. Any additional information required to be able to give a vote? Do I have a motion to approve the virtual public comment process?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Huffline's motion. Mr. Hackney seconds. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Moving on to new business, the well monitoring reports. Review, Mrs. Simmons, do you have any comments to go along with the review?
Yes. For the minutes, the semi-annual well monitoring reports were sent to Alamance County and DHHS by July 31st as required. And all analytical reports were within the standards.
Miss Simmons, can you please repeat that? You guys have the mic over by you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
The semi-annual well monitoring reports were sent to Alamance County and DHHS by July 31st as required, and all of the analytical reports were within the standards.
Is that it, Miss Simmons, or is there
Yes.
anything? Okay,
That's all. Thank you.
thank you.
Are there any additional items to discuss from our agenda items? At this time, we do have items for closed session. And for general statute 43-18.11A5, at this time, at 6:59 PM, we would like to move into closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Huffines, Ms. Foster seconds. All in favor? Thank you.